Magdalene, just a moment. Yeah, what is it? Father is lucid right now. His injuries is severe. His current demeanor is misleading. What are you saying? There's damage to his brain. He may have a few weeks, maybe even a few months left, but he's not going to survive. No! There's something you can do. I'm not a surgeon. We take him to see one? Oh, yeah, they probably are bleeding him at this 1500s. I can see that. I can see him bleeding him. No, he can't be moved in this condition. In fact, he shouldn't move at all. Even if he could, I don't think the finest Italian surgeons would know how to deal with a trauma like this. So he's just going to die. And there's nothing I can do about it. Make him comfortable. You can enjoy the time you have left. Time will run out before long. Man, that sucks. I need to be able to see this mural. It's finished. Oh, that sucks. But I don't know how much time he has left. Warner said it could be a few months or... God protect him. Pick up where Dad left off. He wants to paint the history of Tassing from its earliest days. I'll start with the earliest part of Tassing's history, the pagan tribes. Then I'll move to the founding of the Abbey and Tassing's saints. After that, I should find a way to represent our recent history depicting the revolt as important to Dad. People in Tassing might know some of the town's history, not all of it. Dad said the Library of Curacao was one had those records. He was going to write to the last prioress to see if he had any information. I should write to her now. I'm thinking about it. Illuminata we're going to write? Where to begin? Dad told me the last prioress of Curacao knew something about the old history of Tassing. He said he became abbess of the Covenant. Mother Illuminata, yeah. Yes. Santa Margarita. I should write to her. She was an the abbess here. My name is Magdalena Drakiran. I do not believe we have ever met. I was young when you left Curacao. We're acquainted with my father. He bought many books from the library before that terrible fire consumed the place. I'm writing because my father and I are creating a mural in the Tassing Rat House. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. I just keep saying that. It's going to tell the history of our community and of Curacao as well. We have only legends and folklore since, of course, all the Curacao books were destroyed in the fire. I was hoping you could tell us something about the early history of our town when the Romans were here. If you know anything about the early history of the Abbey itself, I would also be glad to hear it. We'd appreciate any help you could give us. I hope you are well. They always spoke highly of your piety and intellect. Let's try that. God bless you. Thank you. I want to finish the mural before Christmas. I should start planning it tomorrow. I gotta go to bed again? Should head to bed and get as much rest as I can. guess it was a... I don't even know what time it is, so it could still be in late night. It's late. I should get some rest soon. Go to sleep. Time fly. November 6th. Ah, Mr. Struckeren. I have a few letters were addressed to you. Take care now. Thank you, sir. Mother Lumata wrote back to me. Hope her response helps me paint them. Mistress Dakiran, thank you for your letter. I hope this reply finds you and your father in good health. I remember you both, as your father would carry in between the rows of our library in the final years. I also remember your late mother and brother. God keep their souls. Well, we did have some books that discussed Tassing's past. It's likely they were mythological, as what your neighbors believe. You ever get late night craving, like for food? No, not really. I eat more than my fair share of food during the day. Casey sounds amazing. Don't start because then it'll sound good to me. That said, I remember one of our peasants, Tillman Kreutzer, read about the history of the town. Oh, that's right, Till. And he's dead, though. Oh, yeah, no, Black Till. I bet you that's his son. I know he died during the revolt. Perhaps his family knows somewhat he learned. Okay. I should just read this and not say what they're just going to tell me. Should also say that it's not true that all of Curacao books were destroyed by the fire. Andreas Mahler managed to save some from the flames, God rest his soul. In the aftermath of that terrible night, cataloging and preserving the surviving books was not at the top priority of any of our minds. Even though this topic has stirred a memory within me. Several years before the fire, there was a death at Curacao, the murder of Baron Rothwell. He had mentioned something about finding a copy of Historia Tassae, a comprehensive chronicle of your home. I had forgotten about it until now because murder dominated all of our thoughts in the days and weeks that followed. Was the book missing, though? I believe the book might have been stolen. By Martin, I think. It troubles me now because I recall that late Father Matthias was also reading a copy of Historia of Tassae shortly before he died. We never accounted for either book's whereabouts. They may have been hidden somewhere in the library. Went up with everything else. Perhaps the prior Frenric took it from the Baron after the murder. Frenric had an interest in books of all sorts, of course, but he seemed like an odd thing to do in the moment. Then again, only God knows why he did it. Michaelis Haberly, the Baron's manservant, believed may have been stolen by the town thief, Martin Bauer. If Martin is still alive, I would ask him if he knows where the book is. Hopefully he didn't trade it for a mug of beer on his way out of Tassing. If the man had passed from this world, perhaps the family knows where the book is wound up. As for the history of the Abbey, I fear it was lost also in a blaze. However, as a sacristan, Prior Matthew learned a great deal. I have not kept in contact with him, but I know he is now the Archdeacon of Sion. He is no longer a Benedictine, but he uses his family name, Bossy Guy Socks? So? If you write to him soon, your letter may reach him before the snow covers. Please convey my best wishes to your father. He was a good friend of the Abbey in its better years. Despite the violence that occurred, I hold no ill will toward anyone from passing. I pray that you've seen better days since that night, and that God forgives the many errors we made. God bless you as well. Mother Illuminata, Abbess of Santa Margarita. Oh, Esther wrote me too as well. Dear Magda, I pray it all goes well with you in Prague. Let's try that again. I pray it all goes well with you. Prague has been blessedly warm as of late. We're still residing outside the city, but we found a place to stay nearby. Father thinks the king expulsion order will be lifted eventually. The Jews are too important to printing here, and the king to push us out forever. Speaking of printing, your ink was well received indeed. I made several prints with it. They look lovely on the wall. Elijah had taken to the making of his own ink from scraps he found around the house after he saw yours. Mother was furious when he spent several pfennigs trying to find lapis at the market. She said I'm scrubbing the floors for it. Took him 3 days. Glad you're keeping busy, even though it keeps you from visiting. Father says we'll have room whenever you decide to make an appearance. And if you do take over the shop in Tassing, you'll have to make visits to Prague for supplies. Who knows? We'll meet someone here. I made a good match too. There's a young man at the synagogue, Simid, caught my eye. His father is a doctor, and his brothers have all gone to universities as well. Quite like marrying him. Anyway, I hope Ott's fellow and his mother don't give you too much trouble. Really ought to give men a chance, Magdalene. It'd be quite sweet. About Ott's. At least one thing in the city. Here are. Keep us abreast of your father's mural. We'll have to come see it when it's finished. Blessings. Mister. I'll have to write to Esther back tonight. Should head home and check on Dad. Hey, Dad, how you feeling? Ah, Magdalene. Sitting upright, still a struggle, I'm afraid. The dizziness makes my stomach turn, so I'd rather not eat at the moment. Are you sure? I could bring something light like milk or broth. No, I can't stomach anything just yet. But tell me, where are you off to? I need to get started on the first part of the mural today. History. Mother Illuminata didn't know much about Tassing early history, but she did give me a few places to start. I'm going to ask Black Till if his grandfather told him any stories. Illumina said she used to read about Romans. Mother Illuminata, Magdalene. Yeah, right, yes, Mother. Young Kreutzer had mentioned those tales from time to time. Yes, he comes by to borrow books now and then. Usually, when he's found something interesting, old ruin out of book fields, I ask about that. Il Peter was always harumphed about how no one paid attention to the old ways anymore, too. I'm sure he'll have some stories to tell about old Tassing. Might stop and talk to him. I didn't think about that. Thanks, Dad. Of course, Magda. It's nice to feel useful, even when I'm stuck here in bed. Nonsense. I'm just glad you're awake. Might talk to Smokey, too. The old charcoal burner seems to know more about what's in the woods around town than anyone else. That, and he's known gossip. Oh, I know. He just told me he saw Artemis and Kraft swimming together in the pond just last week. Oh, Lord, I can't imagine the fit Veronica would have if she knew. Well, I'm not going to tell. I trust the spirit to convict them, since I cannot. Well, Smokey may know who else you should talk to. You may hear something worthwhile at that rate, or any rate. Okay, I'll go talk to him. What about the ruins or the mines? I can't just use books and stories alone. I want to explore whatever's left from the Romans had before. The salt mine and the Roman ruins are the oldest part of Tassing, so it would only make sense to see what they left behind. You take after your mother. She's always thorough in her research. You always said that's what good artists do, Dad. Be careful, alright? I know the twins mess around near the mines, but I won't want you getting hurt. I don't always know why Jorg doesn't keep them online. Always making trouble, too. Don't worry about me, I'll be careful. Good. I still need to run the press for a little longer after. Don't forget your other chores while you're running around town, alright? You still have a house to run. Don't worry, I'll get everything done. It's my girl. Better get going if I want to do all that today. See you later, Dad. Good luck, Magdalene. Alright. So, I don't think we're too far from Black Till's place, so let's go there first. This way, I believe. God bless you, Magdalene. God bless you, Till. You have a moment? Of course. What do you need? Ott says you've been obsessed with your painting. I'm looking for the early history of Tassing from the first part of the mural. Other Illuminati says your grandfather read about the history of the town. Fertile feuds, that is. Seems like old pot shards of Latin trivia were all he ever talked about. All of Granddad's readings came from the Abbey Library, though. And you know what happened there. Up in smoke. So you don't have any of his old books? Only a few. Granddad tried to buy me some when the Abbey fell on hard times. Too expensive. But I can show you something better than books. Anything would help. Right. So we don't have any books, Old Pagan. But we do have their stuff. Shards of ceramic pots and animals. Bricks from what looks like an old forge. Mountains of salt. Even found a little bear carved from amber. Find all this stuff. It's not just me. Carl finds things. Fabian too. Any farmer could tell you the same. It's all out there on the fields under the dirt. Can't go one season without turning up something. Where are you keeping these? Nowhere, I just toss them into piles with the rest of the rocks and clumps. Sure, it's interesting. We can't do much with anything with the stuff except look at it. What do you think it all means? I don't follow. How do you think these people lived? What do you like? How about what do you think they're like? I guess we never really thought about it. Seem like regular people. Their remains all look like ours. Tools and weapons are rougher, but not badly made. Little carvings and ceramic critters aren't so different from the things Ava made for us. I suppose I'd expect them to be more strange. No, well, Diablo is just going to be for the weekend. It's just an open beta for the weekend. So I want to at least play it. I'll probably just play it on Friday night. Depends on how much I like it. When it comes out in June, I'll play it. So we'll see how much I like it. I'm pretty sure I'll like it. But to get me hyped up for the ARPGs on my free time, I've been playing some Path of Exile. But yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Because they aren't Christians. No, that they're coarse, but they don't seem especially violent, like the church says. Not different from today, really. Earlier you mentioned something about salt. Did the pagans start the mine? Had to have, I'd say. Most people think it's a Roman project, but I think the Romans just dug out what was already there. That's why Tassian was so important to the Romans in the first place. Salt. Now, here's what's going to happen. I think, for streaming, I think we'll probably finish this game today. So, on Sunday, I'm going to play this game called Firewatch. Very short game. Probably will finish it in one stream. Looks kind of interesting. It's kind of to pass some time until the 30th. So, Sunday, I'll probably play I'll be playing Firewatch. And then on Tuesday, I'll be doing a demo day. We'll have a demo day. There's a few demos I want to try. And then Thursday, we're going to start Tainted Grail. And I'm not sure how long that game's going to take because it's an early access, so it's only like the first chapter. But I really want to try it because it's it's an Arthurian dark fantasy game. Which is just an RPG. Kind of like a Skyrim type RPG. So I'm really looking forward to that. After that, we'll probably start Everspace 2, which is a space. We have a spaceship, so we can just looter shooter. Kind of like a freelancer, if you know what that game's like. Then it should be Sherlock Holmes. That will take us into May, which I want to try. Was it Redfall? I'm going to try that out, see what that's like. It'll be free on Xbox Game Pass, so I'll be trying that out. Always wondered why the people settled in such a small alpine town. You think there's anything left of the pagans down there? I don't know, but anything they left would have been better preserved than what we dig up. Should try the Nancy Drew games. Yeah, I think you mentioned that before, and I need to write it down so I remember that. Aren't they older games? Have they come out with a new Nancy Drew game? I mean, I've seen Nancy Drew games. Gotta move my fan. But I haven't noticed anything new for Nancy Drew. Magdalene, tell me you aren't thinking of going down there. Should be almost free. I wonder if they work, though. If they'll work for the new stuff. What if the stuff that could help me with the mural? Magdalene? That mine's hundreds of years old. You could break your neck just getting in there. Come on, you're just as curious as I am. Yeah, I'll have to look and see if they actually work. Imagine how your dad feel if he got hurt. He doesn't have to know. Won't tell him, right? Damn it, I fail! I fail every single time. I'm not very convincing, man or woman, no matter what I play. I'm not lying to your father, so you can put yourself in harm's way. He is dying, man. Oh. Now you're a clever girl, so I doubt you'll find a way in. Set your mind to it. But I can't help you, Magdalene. I'd break your father's heart if something happened to you. That's fine, I understand. Good. This has been a big help. Glad to spread some of the knowledge around. Important for folk to know their past. You think this pagan stuff will make it in the mural? I could bring some of the things the boys and I found over to the Wrath House tomorrow. That'll help at all. That would be great. Glad you're taking an interest, Magdalene. I thought no one cared about the pagans but me and Granddad. I should warn you. If you head into the forest, keep an eye out for the Lord's men. They're strict. Worse than they used to be. I'll be careful. Till tomorrow. Till then. Hello, Ava. Darling, Otz isn't here, I'm afraid. Oh, that's alright. I can find him later if I need to. I think he wandered off towards Rathaus. Okay. Something about the council. But if you ask me, I think he's looking for you. Well, that's sweet of him. He's been dropping by the Rat House more often as of late. It's quite fond of you. Surprised he has any time to visit, though. He's always working on town council business these days. And he's still working at mastering carpentry, too. I suggest a few years ago that he take up an apprenticeship, but he was determined to remain in Tassing. I think he's more comfortable here, even if that means he'll never be a craftsman, not always. I'll help him how I can, but there's only so much I know how to do. Besides, I think he feels like he's taking care of me instead of the other way around. Funny how time does that. It's good of him to stay. I would worry if you'd be lonely otherwise. Well, even if he had gone, I wouldn't be alone. I have Mom and Jorg and the rest of the family to help take care of. Besides, they keep me busy. I never want for anything with Oz and community here in Tassing. I miss my husband, and I'm proud of Otz. He's growing to be a capable young man. I'm excited to see him grow into a husband and father, make a wonderful partner. Whoever he marries will be a lucky woman. About time to start finding a match, too. I don't know. Endris is a good man, but it's a shame the Lord has never blessed him with a wife. I'd rather Otz not be in the same position. Better to marry earlier while he can raise a family. Anyway, I'm sure you have things to do. Let you get back to them. Always good to see you, Magda. You too, Ava. Alright, Otz, we'll talk to you. Hi, Mags. Got your way with the mural, huh? I didn't expect you to convince the council like that. I can be pretty stubborn when I want, Otz. Clearly, I'm impressed. The rest of the council has been arguing over the matter for so long, even I couldn't get a word in. Then you come in and shut them up in just a few minutes. You'd use more women like you in town. There are plenty opinionated women in town. Want us to join the council? Well, you have to take up with the Lord. Besides, I don't think any of them are hard-headed as you. You're the exception, Magdalene. You always are. She's a witch. They're gonna burn me. You really think so? Well, yeah. I wouldn't tell you that otherwise. You're an admirable woman. Anyway, standing up to the council like that was great. I know I'm on the council, but sometimes it doesn't seem like I have any influence. You're the youngest man of the council. The others have much more life experience. Yes, but how am I supposed to gain experience if not involved in making decisions? Being the youngest one of the council has been harder than I thought. I know Baltus and Werner don't think I'm capable. Even Paul has warned me about being too rash. My dad died trying to make a difference in this town. All I'm trying to do is carry on his legacy, but it seems like the others won't make room for any change. Yeah, keep pushing. They're stuck in the past. We're looking toward the future of Tassing. Thanks, Mags. Magdalene. It'll take time, but maybe they'll listen to me eventually. Oh well, better get back to it. See you later, Mags. Tries to correct himself. Alright, so we can talk to Martin. I wonder if he's around. Here you are, Martin. Morning, Magdalene. How's Klaus? Enduring. Even when his speech is slurred, he keeps a cheerful heart. I don't know what life would be like without him. Boss is a good man, Magdalene. Tassing's got a better places thanks to him. He's one of the few in Tassing who hasn't been on my back all this time. What do you mean? Don't pretend like you haven't heard the townsfolk have been whispering shit about me for years. So what if I occasionally get into a few brawls? I'm an honest man. I wasn't involved with what happened to Otto Zimmerman. Otto. I supported his cause. I pulled my weight around here, tilled the soil, salted the meats, provided for Brigida and Kraft. I've done enough backbreaking work for this family. Can't a man have a goddamn rest? She supports you in all this, doesn't she? That's a wife's duty. Take note, Magdalene. We get along, though she often spends more time with Veronica than me. Everyone needs a close friend. I'm fortunate to have Esther. Yeah, good to have friends. Right, I've lost enough time with this time for you to go. Wait, almost forgot. The reason I came to you. I'm trying to learn about the history of Tassie, and I was told you could help. What do I know about the history? Here you go. We'll go for the nicer one. Mother Illuminata told me you borrowed a book from the local history from Baron Rothvogel. Mother Illuminata? Oh, you mean one of the old nuns at the Covenant? Sure, a book. Might have taken it back then. That was a lifetime ago. I can't remember the book or what I did with it. Those years are a blur. Probably threw it away somewhere or left it at home. Wouldn't have been much for me to do with the book. I can't read. Too unique for me to have sold, too. No one outside Tassin cares about its history anyway. Okay, maybe I should ask Brigida if she remembers anything about it. Sure, couldn't hurt. Decades ago. She's the one who remembers shit. Thanks for your help. Uh-huh. There's nothing else. I got work to do. Until later. Talk to Brigida.